Sekejap. Okey. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat pagi kepada semua. First of all, welcome to the RIoD2023 Design Competition. Okay. So, selamat datang dan saya ucapkan tahniah lah kerana menyertai competition ini. It is one of the hopes of the faculty and the University of Malaya as a whole that students come in and join in competitions like this, because we feel that by having these competitions we open up a portal for students, in order to create talents, because we know that this is my perception. The university is the biggest pool of talents. We have about 20,000 students. 20,000 students going through a conventional way of learning. You go to lectures, you pass exams, and you graduate, right? You do have some, based on the curriculum, you do have some training on the industry. You go for industrial training for, I don't know, 3 months, about 3 months. And you have to go through all the conventional ways of getting a degree in a university or from a university. And when you graduate, you will be, basically exposed to the real world. But you have to remember that this real world, you're not just competing with your friends. It's 20,000 if you talk about the 20,000 students as your friends. You're not just competing with 20,000 students. You're competing with the whole batch of students from all the universities in Malaysia, plus those who are graduated from overseas, coming back to Malaysia looking for jobs. So I would say that this is a hyper competitive environment. So this hyper competitive environment, it is very difficult for you to get jobs. I have to admit that. I mean, I was born at a time where jobs are quite easy to get. The economy is good, to the point that today, because students or the young generation feels that going to university, having to pay for university fees and graduating, and there are a lot of stories about graduates not getting jobs. So we are having this problem in Malaysia where I'm not sure about the percentage, but I'm quite sure it's a big percentage. I remember that it is quite a big percentage. The percentage of students deciding not to continue tertiary education is really big. They would rather work, become an internet influencer, or work as a Grab, deliverer, because this make money more than an engineer who just graduates. Probably you'll be making about 2,500, 3,500, and you can actually get more money if you work very hard, if you are a Grab driver. So I've met a lot of Grab drivers who are actually university graduates. So some are thinking, I don't need to be a university graduate in order to become a Grab driver. So I will just not take university and become a Grab driver. Now I'm not going to blame students or the younger generation for feeling that way, because yes, the economy of this country is not dynamic enough to cover for students who are who graduate from the university, to cover them for jobs. They can't get jobs because the economy is not dynamic enough. And one of the most critical areas where the economy is not dynamic enough are areas involving engineering and sciences. So our engineering and sciences, the fields, the field of engineering and sciences, we do not have that critical limit yet, where the economy grows tremendously because there are so many people who are involved in engineering, in technology, and setting up companies based on engineering, technology, and sciences. We don't have that critical limit. So what happens is that we do have companies, we do have startups, but these are small numbers of startups and technology companies, and they can't provide the jobs that students need, that new graduates need. Plus, new graduates do not have the skills. They do courses on entrepreneurship, but it's not giving them that. It's still not intense enough for them to think about opening up companies based on technology. Example, in drones. Yeah. So I know engineering students have been building drones in your lab, right? Is it right? Yeah. You've been building drones, right? But we're not trained properly to link the drones that we built with industry, with industrial applications, and you don't have links to the industry to actually showcase your talents, right? In the drone technology. This is just drone. There are many other aspects of different technology. So in the end, students go out. They have to struggle to find jobs. They could have opened up companies, but they don't have that skill, and they don't have the push. Maybe the university itself is not doesn't cater for that much. Yeah? So you couldn't get that. You couldn't get to that point where graduating from the university in engineering, in the sciences, would give you jobs straight away. In fact, if they give you jobs, it becomes jobs which are quite typical. I'm a chemist, so a chemist who graduates from the university will have a job in the analytical labs, for example, and this is just jobs which are typical. You do something over and over again. You get very good at certain things. But your minds don't grow. You don't open up the doors of creativity and innovation. Yeah? Now, the main reason is that the university training, we don't focus very much on looking at students, these 20,000 students in the university, and how these students are actually, kalau dalam bahasa Melayu kita kata lubuk inovasi dan creativity. Yeah, because you haven't actually tried and basically dip your leg into the cold lake. Kalau awak tak tahu, nak tahu sama ada suatu tasik itu adalah sejuk atau tidak, you just have to put your feet in. So in the university, you don't have that chance to put your feet in. Yeah? You do not know whether you are a creative student or not, right? You just have to follow the conventional directions. Yeah. So we try to open up. At least we are now having a makerspace, right? This makerspace will start off, I think, in a while, but it won't be too long. We will have a makerspace in the middle of the university at Perdana Siswa, so students can come and do things. We will run courses and stuff like that for students to try out things and basically develop their creativity and innovation in the makerspace. So these design competitions are actually part of the activities carried out by makerspace, in order for students to actually open up the doors or portal of creativity and innovation. So you guys, you telah menyambut cabaran ini. Ya. Saya fikirkan kalau boleh 20,000 orang student itu come and get involved in competitions like this, because it will build this confidence in you. It opens up the portal, as I've mentioned earlier, of creativity and innovation. Ya, jadi awak betul-betul nampak inovasi dan kreativiti itu menyerlah dalam diri awak. So this competition is actually at least an initial effort for us to open up this portal for students, because inside you have this ability to create and to innovate, and this is a good opportunity for you to showcase that. Plus, one more thing which I always tell my students, when you do things like this, these are not taught in university. You don't have courses about designing IoTs that you attach to a drone to do things. There are no courses. It's purely your imagination and purely your creativity and innovation. Now, with this extra knowledge, it gives you an edge. As graduates of University of Malaya, it gives you an edge over other students from other universities. If you think about other universities, maybe they are doing the same thing. I do not know. Yeah, but if you were to put the baseline where all universities undergo the same conventional teaching of students to graduate, then if you were to open up the portal of innovation and creativity, you will have the edge. Yeah. For example, for a chemistry student who's entering this competition, maybe with an engineering student, this chemistry student don't know anything about drones. He or she doesn't know anything about IoTs. Yeah, how to build IoTs to cater for certain applications. Now you learn this in the competition, right? So when you learn this in the competition, the student who's a chemist will then know about these extra things that they don't learn in the typical chemistry lab. Yeah, so they will definitely have the edge over others. So when you go for interviews, for example, okay, you're a chemist, you know about some chemistry instruments, you know about chemistry theory, but you also know some programming. You also know how to build IoTs. Yeah, you know about microcontrollers, for example. So this is actually part of this package that you have that gives you an edge over other students. Yeah? I hope that is very clear, because it is very, very important. Yeah? Involving yourself in these design competitions gives you that. Plus, we also get industries to come. Hopefully, they will support us in this competition. It is also a good exposure for you, to get opportunities for jobs and understand the industry. So it is actually a good, your decision to come and enter the competition is actually a good decision, and I really congratulate you, because I think it's a challenge which you are willing to take. Okay, right. So what is this competition about? I'm not going to give you all the technical answer. There will be a lot of questions unanswered. Now, this briefing is just meant to tell you, or meant to give you a direction, right? I cannot promise you all questions answered. In fact, there will be a lot of questions unanswered, and these are actually questions that I expect you to answer, right? Okay. So the drone competition basically is a response to create talents, as I mentioned to you earlier. Yeah. Now the drone technology action plan focuses on three main sectors, right? One is agriculture, number two is emergency and disaster management, and number three is planetary biosphere monitoring. Basically, it's environment. How do you monitor environment and actually make use of the data, do analysis to it and stuff like that? Yeah. So I had an opportunity to talk to people who are actually in the industry, and I give you an example: agriculture. Yeah. Now drones have been used lately to spray racun kan. So drones are used to spray racun, right? So drones are just tools at the moment, tools to carry some payload and spread the payload. So it's a good idea to use drones to sembuh racun lah. And it has been proven that menyembuh racun menggunakan drone memang increases the yield of the tanaman. Okay, but there are more to it. There are a lot of other things in agriculture and applications that can be used on agriculture and the use of drones. That you can explore. Okay, I will give you some examples. I think just to tell you, this is the first briefing. Please keep track of that. There will be other talks by the industry, about drones, and they will be talking more about the applications of drones in agriculture, in search and rescue, in environment, and some of the applications which are, which still needs innovative ideas, right? So they will be able to give you, because I don't have experience on that one. So these talks will be given by um, industry experts, yeah, on drones. So we'll be doing three things: agriculture, emergency and disaster management, and um, planetary biosphere monitoring. Okay. Uh, get some. Okay. So the primary objective of the competition, yeah, is to the philosophical objective, as I've mentioned earlier, is to actually create talents, to open up these portals for you guys to become more creative and more innovative. Yeah. And in terms of what the competition is all about, you are supposed to be designing IoTs, or actually doing something that is attached to the drone. Yeah? Either you build an IoT using microcontrollers, okay, for a certain function. You have probably sensors and stuff like that, where you attach these IoTs onto the drone. It could be a simple camera. It could be a simple camera. So rather than talking about developing IoTs, you actually use the data. You do analytics to the data, and actually by doing this analytics, you can actually create a new application. Say, for example, you put a camera, you take pictures of agricultural fields and stuff like that, and you work out some analytics that will enable us to, basically predict things. For example, predict whether the condition of the current, agricultural fields will give yield. I'm not sure. These are things that you have to think about. Yeah? But what I'm trying to say is that the possibilities, it seems endless. It seems endless. Yeah. And some students ask questions about technical specifications. Yeah, what kind of drones are we using? Right. Being in the WhatsApp group, you have to, as I've mentioned earlier, you have to be aware of new information coming in. Now, we have already done the procurement of the template drones. So the drones will be built, and these drones will be placed in makerspace. So your students can come and have a look at the drones. These drones are the templates. You'll be attaching your IoTs to the drones. Okay, there are 3 drones, and you'll be attaching your IoTs, and then you'll be taught how to fly the drones and stuff, right? Now, technical questions about, okay, what is the payload? What is the weight of the IoT module? What is the maximum weight? What about the power supply and stuff like that? I can't answer you those questions now. Those questions can only be answered when the drones are here, when the people who built the drones are here in the WhatsApp group, and all the technical questions you can ask in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so you won't be lost in that sense. And I've mentioned to you earlier that maybe some of these questions can't be answered. You are supposed to try them out. Yeah. So you will allow, for example, students to have a payload, maybe some weight, or to try to see whether the drones can fly. I've asked the builders of the drones. They were saying that well, it's not a good idea to tap energy from the drone battery, for example. So you have to put a battery, an extra battery on the drone, and use an external power supply rather than using the drone's power supply. Yeah. So these are technical questions which I won't be able to answer now. You will only be able to truly understand what's going on when you actually see the drones, and then you can ask the questions to the people who built the drones. Okay. So as far as the technical requirements are concerned, it'll have to wait. Yeah. I will only be, basically, it's not really a briefing to tell you everything. I'm just going to say that you are in the WhatsApp group. There will be people from the industry in the WhatsApp group, There will be people from engineering to help us answer some of the questions in the WhatsApp group, so you can ask those questions straight away. Yeah, but you can't really ask technical questions yet until the drones are ready. So when the drones are ready, it will be placed in the makerspace, and you can actually have a look at it. Yeah. So these are some of the logistical problems that um, that hinders us. So that is why we are extending the date of the competition, right? So at this point, the final competition, the final date of the competition is 25th of January, right? So if there are still logistical problems, hinderings, we will extend the competition date, right? Because we don't want it to, because there's a competition, it has to be at that time. We want to see that you are able to build the modules that would really show that that you are creative, that you are innovative, something that is really meaningful. And I'm telling you, the industry is really looking for students who are capable of doing this. Yeah. So I've talked to them, and they are very interested, and they will be joining us as far as running the competition is concerned, answering questions, giving opportunities to you. Maybe one day, who knows? Your design will be used in the industry. Yeah. So basically, that's the direction of the competition. So the final competition will be the final day of the finals will be on the 25th of January 2024. Yeah. So you have a lot of time. Now, you don't really need a drone to think about your ideas. Yeah? To think about your ideas. Now, there will be a semi-final, and in this semi-final, so the semi-final pitching, it's just pitching. You are looking at some concepts that you want to present, right? So that will be on the 25th of November 2023. Okay. Again, logistical problems may arise. We will inform any exchange or any changes in the dates in the WhatsApp group. So please be wary of that. So 25th of November 2023 will be the semi-final pitching. So from the pitching, we will actually select certain groups that makes it, whose ideas are we see worthy of being considered in the final. Yeah. After the 25th of November. So you don't really need a drone to actually do the pitching. The drone should be coming. I hope it will be coming very, very soon. Once the drones are here, we will tell you that it is in the makerspace. You can have a look at it, right? So you can think about the ideas on how, or rather to ideas on pitching, yeah, before you actually build the IoT. So the pitching doesn't require to have a prototype. It's just a concept. We want to see about your, how you think about the concepts. So the semi-final pitching is only pitching where you are pitching your ideas, right? Of course, the ideas must be logical. It has to be rational. Yeah? So maybe I can give you some ideas of what is the payload of the drones when they are built, and you can think about concepts around the limitations of the drone. Yeah. So janganlah nak letakkan satu robot besar seberat 1 kilogram. It has to be limited within the specifications of the drones. But as I've mentioned, you don't really need the drones to be there, but we'll try to see if we can actually get the drones there before you actually think about the concept. You can still talk to your friends now and think about what you want to do. Yeah. But make sure that the design is actually within the specifications and the capability of the template drones, right? Okay. About some of the coaching sessions. Yeah. So if you look at the web page, the coaching session, there are 4 coaching sessions. Now again, these coaching sessions we can also change. Yeah. But the basic idea of giving you what is the story in terms of how the industry is using the drone. That will be the first talk. Okay, very very soon. Drone piloting, yeah. So this one will also be, there will be some concepts on drone piloting, on drones, rules and laws of related to drones in the industry design talk. Okay. But we will have some people to come and show you about drone piloting as well. Yeah. Drone custom ship for modular onboard sensors. We'll see how we go about this, because I think this one requires the drone to be there, right? We still don't have much idea about how to actually put the IoTs onto the drone. This is something that you guys can also think about when you see the drones. Yeah. Are we going to provide the sensors and everything? You know, we are only going to provide the basic tools. Say, for example, you want an ESP32, right? So we have ESP32. If you want to put on Raspberry Pi, we have Raspberry Pi. You want to put on Arduino Uno, we only have Uno, right? You can put on Arduino Uno. So these are the basic microcontrollers that we have that you can use in order to build your IoT. We also have a set of sensors. These sensors may not be the advanced sensors that you would like to have, right? These are just normal sensors. We have these sensors. So we are going to only provide the basic tools, right? So of course you can use the makerspace to build whatever you want to build. Yeah. Extra things, extra beyond whatever which is provided, that one has to be provided by yourself. Yeah? Some people ask whether we can actually allow students to buy very expensive. Maybe your parents are very rich. You buy some expensive tools, you know, to attach to the drones and do, you know, really extensive, for example, analytics, because you can get data effectively from these tools that you buy. Of course, that will sort of reduce the value of creativity, of innovation, yeah? Because you buy this thing, you know, it's quite expensive. It's 1,000 ringgit. Yeah? So we would love to see you use normal equipments, cameras, normal cameras, you know. Yeah, maybe high resolution cameras, but not that expensive. In order for you to take pictures and actually, you know, gather data. So we will not encourage students to use expensive tools, expensive IoTs, for example, that you can buy on the market to do certain things. But if you want to use it because your work is on something else, you want to buy a very, not really expensive, but quite expensive tool that will allow you to collect data, and your project is actually not on the tool itself, but on the data, you can come and talk to us. And we'll see how it goes. You know, if we can really understand that, yeah, your tools are expensive, but you develop applications not based on the tool, but based on the data that you gain. That means you do some programming, you use AI, for example, to analyze the data. Now, that is a different issue. Yeah? So it's not going to be a very hard and rigid rules. You know, if you want to do something which is a bit beyond what is provided, then you can come to us and talk about it. Yeah. So we are quite flexible in that sense. Yeah. But if you were to buy an equipment, yeah, in which your application is based on the equipment, based on the software written by the developers of the equipment to do your project, I would say don't do it. Right? If you come to us and say we want to buy this equipment, it costs 1,000 ringgit, my father's rich, you know, I would say no, don't do it, because it will not. It doesn't show the value of creativity. You'll just be using another tool built by someone, you know, to do something. In this competition, what we want to look at is your abilities to build your own tools. That's why the timing is quite long, right? So from 25th November to 25th January, there's 2 months you can do a lot of things. Yeah, there will be the hardware part, domain expert part, and there will be the software part, right? So this is what we're looking for. How how creative and how innovative are you in creating new applications, related to agriculture, search and rescue, and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. So there are many different types of applications in these three fields. You choose whatever is that you like, and build applications based on that. And always think of the restrictions, the design restrictions of your IoT and the drones, in order to solve the problem. Okay, so this is really something that you have to think about in terms of not just your ideas, but also solving problems within the constraints. Okay, right. So number 4, drone analytics. I think we'll try to get someone to actually talk about the analytics of data that you collect from the drone. Okay, so these coaching sessions will be provided, and we will continuously update information in the WhatsApp group. So maybe it's not going to be exactly as it is written on the web page. Coaching sessions on number 1, 2, 3, 4, but we try to find people who are able to help you out in building the IoTs, and building the apps for the competition in the applications of agriculture, search and rescue, and environment. We will try to get someone to help you out. Any things that you feel, we don't have skill in this, we need some coaching on, say, for example, the use of AI using Python. Yeah, maybe some of you have done Python programming. Yeah, we can try to get people to help you with AI tools, right, within Python for you to use. Yeah. Okay, what else is there? What else is there? Okay, so I think that's about it. Yeah. So you already have the idea where the direction of which direction the competition is going. As far as technical questions are concerned, we will get people who are able to answer technical questions into the group, so you can ask the question straight away. The drones will be ready soon, so the drones will be placed in the makerspace, right? And you can actually start to tinker with it. Maybe not fly yet, just look at the drone and see where you can put your IoT or how you're going to integrate your IoT onto the drone. And you can even start to think about ideas within the constraints of the design, right? And it is these ideas that will be presented in the semi-final, which is on the 25th of November, hopefully. And a number of people, a number of competitors whose ideas are impressive will go straight into the next round, where the students will start to build the IoTs, and yeah, on the 25th of January we will have the final competition. So there will be a lot of questions, there will be a lot of problems along the road, because this is something that is quite open-ended. We don't really know what kind of problems will arise. Yeah, as the problem arises, we will change parameters. Yeah, is that kind of flexibility. We'll just tweak parameters of the competition if problems arises. So do not worry. And I think a good innovative and creative group will be able to squiggle its way through the problems that you face. It shows the creativity and innovativeness. Yeah. Right, I think that's about it. Are there anything that things that I forgot? Maybe Dr. Tay, ada benda yang saya lupa tak untuk cakap?
Saya rasa tak ada. Maybe we open for the student to ask question.
Yep, okay.
Okay, student, yeah, if you have any question, you can raise your hand and on your mic. You have any questions?
Kalau dalam YouTube group tu jangan malu, you just tanya sahaja. Tanya sahaja, tak ada masalah. Sekarang ni kalau nak tanya, if you want to ask questions, don't ask me technical questions. Ask me about the direction. Okay? Because technical questions you can discuss within the WhatsApp group.
Okay, look like no questions from participants.
Ada soalan langsung? Macam mana? Ada soalan?
Okay, Prof. Maybe I have one question from students that previously they text me. If the student have their own drone, are we allowed them to use their own? Prof? Prof, are you still with us? I'm not sure is Prof Sharifuddin disconnected or what. Dr. Chen, can you hear me?
Yeah, no issue from my side. I can hear you well.
But I'm not sure what happened to Prof. Sort of like disconnected. I got one message from Irfan. Irfan said I have a lot of technical questions. So maybe you can just feel free to ask your technical questions in the WhatsApp group. So we have the expert to answer your questions. So don't be shy. Just text whatever you would like to ask.
Ya. Jangan malu-malu lah. I mean, if you are malu, macam mana nak tahu jawapan kan?
Prof, student boleh guna sendiri punya drone tak? If they have their own drone.
Saya dah beritahu tak boleh kan?
Oh, tak boleh. Okay.
Dia kena pakai drone yang telah disediakan sebab this competition ada, you know, that's the baseline lah. The baseline is template drone. So you may have problems. You may the drones may not have the technical specifications that the students desire, but that is basically your design limitations. Yeah.
Okay. So last call for questions, student. Okay.
Questions?
Okay. Lim Kahao.
Morning, doctor. I just want to ask, are we free to walk into the makerspace to use the tools, or we have to make appointment prior to entering the makerspace?
Okay. It is the makerspace policy for you to become a member of the makerspace first. Once you become a member of the makerspace, then you can enter and go out of the makerspace as much as you want. within the makerspaces opening times. And you can even use a lot of,
I see.
yeah, we have 3D printers and stuff like that. So yeah, so you have to
I
become
see.
member of the makerspace first. Berapa teh bayarannya teh?
Undergraduate student 20 ringgit per semester, per 6 months. Sorry.
Then where can I register to be a member?
Let me share the link.
Oh, I'm just to tell you guys, the makerspace that we have now is just a lab. Okay, so there are, of course, the equipments typical of a makerspace is there lah. We have 3D printers, we have laser cutter, tools, electrical tools, you know. Jadi bila awak pergi sana, awak tahulah apa yang kita ada. It's unfortunate that we were thinking that this makerspace, the new makerspace, will be ready by the time we are having this competition, but no. So you still have to use the makerspace in chemistry department, which is a bit far away. Okay, you have to go there. Yeah, kalau tidak, the next makerspace will be the new makerspace will be in Perdana Siswa lah. You got the links already?
Yeah, I have shared the link. So if let's say you need anything, or especially like the technical advice or how to use a 3D printer for your work, we can provide the advice. We can teach you how to use the 3D printer and so on.
Please do not hesitate to ask questions in the WhatsApp group. Kalau kita tak boleh answer, kita akan cari orang untuk answer question awak. So we'll try to answer all questions lah. Possibility of getting your answers is quite good lah. We will try to get if the experts are not in the group pun, kita akan tanya pada experts di luar lah. Yeah.
I will share the link for the membership registration in the WhatsApp group so that everyone can have the access. Okay, so if nampaknya tak ada soalan lagi.
Tak ada soalan? So apa-apa soalan sila tanya dalam WhatsApp. I hope we are quite clear about where the direction of the competition is concerned. So I'm sure you have a lot of technical questions. Sekarang ini kita nak tanya technical questions on the drone itself. Kalau ada soalan pun saya akan pass kepada orang yang buat drone tu lah. But when the drones are here, then you can actually ask those questions lah. Sebab saya ada sedikit kesangsian mengenai the specification of the payload lah. Berapa banyak sebenarnya drone tu boleh angkat, kan? Itu saya kena tanya dengan orang yang bina drone. Sebab saya rasa ramai student saya akan tanya soalan tu.
Ya.
Kalau dia kata dia boleh angkat 200 gram sebagai contoh, so you have to really within that limitations 200 gram you kena masukkan kat dalam tu, termasuk bateri. So bateri 200 gram, bateri dengan dia punya controllernya, dengan ini, dengan itu, it has to be within 200 grams. Jadi limitation. Sebagai designers, you have to design based on limitations. Sama ada physical limitation, power limitation, money limitations, you know. So that's the job of a designer. Okay.
So maybe once Prof managed to get the information, especially the load, we can share it in the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Okay, so
But again,
Ada-
I like to reiterate again, bahawa if say for example problems arises, problems even related to the specifications, related to the drones limitations that we are facing, kita akan tweak parameters of the competition. Yeah. Jadi awak tak perlu bimbang lah. Saya tidak akan, or the team, the competition committee will not menyiksa awak lah dengan something that you can't really do if based on the limitations of the drone itself. So any changes in any problems arising, we will tweak the parameters of the competition. So do not worry about that. We will keep you abreast of those things lah dalam WhatsApp group. Okay, kalau tak ada apa-apa, Teh.
okay, so we will end the briefing session here. So thank you very much, Prof Sharifuddin and all the participants. Okay. So
Alright,
just
thank you.
feel free to text us if you have any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.